Today, we're going to be talking about satisfaction in the way you live your life. Many people have everything and they're still not satisfied. And a lot of that ties into your purpose and self knowledge and knowing what God's plan is for you. But I'm going to start with a quote before we get into the word from Dr. King, Dr. Martin Luther King. If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. If the street sweeper is not doing their job properly, if the janitor, if the fast food person is not doing their job properly, our society won't function. Everyone's job is important. Everyone's job is needed for us to have our way of life. So to look down on someone who's a garbage man, a street sweeper, a fast food worker, that's wrong, because if those people did not do their jobs, we would not be able to survive. The garbage would pile up on the streets. And I've seen it every day. Those people make our lives better. And I did work in fast food and in restaurants and cleaning toilets. And this quote from Dr. King kept me going. I did my job well, and I progressed in life because I realized anything you do, you have to do with excellence. It's in the Bible. It's in common sense that whatever you do, you must do with excellence. So Colossians 3:23-24 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as if you're working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. So when you're serving your bosses, doing your work, it's not for them. Your work is not for them. Yeah, you made an agreement with them to work for them, but it's about excellence. And you are serving the Lord when you work well. And whatever you're doing, whether it's cleaning a toilet, serving up burgers, whatever you have to do, that's service to the Lord. You're doing what you agreed to do and what you're supposed to do at that moment in time. You don't have to stay there forever, but you have to do it with excellence, and then God will guide you to the next step and the next step and the next step. And if you do things with excellence, the wealth, the good life will follow that, because you will not stay in that job forever if you can show excellence in whatever you're doing. And society needs people to do those jobs. And every job is important. The janitor's job is just as important as the CEO, because the company wouldn't function without a good janitor there. So always remember that. Proverbs 25. The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. So what that means is you have to get into the game of self-knowledge. That can be a big job. That can be like taking on a part-time job. If you don't know your purpose, if you don't know your passions, if you don't know the gifts that God has given you, you won't be able to give your gift to the world and to your family and to yourself. So you have to take time to get self-knowledge. Learn where your passions and your skill sets and your natural gifts intersect. If you put on a wrong size suit, it's not going to fit. So you might have to try different jobs, try different relationships to see what works for you. And if you view the failure as a stepping stone to the next thing and a stepping stone to being satisfied and being happy, then they're not failures anymore. So you might have to try and fail at many things in order to find what suits you. But self-knowledge is the beginning. You have to know and love yourself first before God will tell you what your purpose is. And knowing your purpose is very important if you want to get anywhere in the world. Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So if you love God, you want to serve people, you want to serve yourself and your family, but you also provide a product or a service to the world that they need and want, that's a service, that's godly. So if you are working for good, working to provide a product and service that people need, you might fail, you might have some hard times, but God will eventually show you what's meant for you, and you will fulfill your purpose if you don't give up. He wants a good life for you. He wants you to have the love you want. He wants you to have abundance in your life. Even if right now you're cleaning toilets at McDonald's and having to work in fast food like I have, he will give you a good life if you pray, meditate, stay close to him, seek God first, and then everything else will come. But you have to ask God to give you the knowledge of yourself, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what you're good at, what you're not good at. You have to figure these things out if you want to be able to focus and focus well on your purpose. But it doesn't just come to your mind like downloading something on your computer. You have to put in the work to find out about yourself and write down what you're good at, what you're not good at. And don't go after things that you're not good at because you're just going to frustrate yourself. But that's going to take trial and error and failure and hard times for you to figure that out. So try different things, see what works for you. But a lot of you know your purpose and know what you're supposed to do and don't have the guts to put yourself out there to do it. So we all have a purpose and we all are given gifts, and none of us are good at everything in this life. I thought I would be a professional athlete and I thought I could do physical things. I'm not good at those things, and I'll never be a professional athlete, and I had to give up that dream. And I'm working more with my mind than with my body. And I'm not handy, I'm not good at fixing things, so I stopped trying to learn how to fix things, and I hired someone to fix things. And I just have to accept what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And God's given us all great gifts, but none of us are good at everything. We all need each other for this society to work. So that's why I say the janitor's job is just as important as the CEO. Ecclesiastes 3:1. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. So you might be flipping burgers now, but if you have something to share with the world, it's never been easier. You can get on YouTube and TikTok and share what you've learned and what your knowledge is with the world. So just because you're doing that now doesn't mean you have to do that forever. Just because you might be struggling now doesn't mean you have to struggle forever. And I'm going to close with Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has trouble of its own. So just do what you're supposed to do every day, one day at a time. So whatever you've agreed to do it with excellence. Know that you're serving God when you do your job with excellence and you serve others with excellence and you're providing your product or service. Whatever that is, don't worry about tomorrow. Just take the baby steps. I love you guys. I appreciate all your support and love. and I will be talking to you soon.